Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Broke Show. Today, we are joined by Dan Benrahma Patch,
Hello.
James McGinn Kay,
Good day.
John Curtis Rose.
That's me.
Very delayed.
We were going to be joined by Mike Peplow, but alas, our brother has fallen. So, moment of silence, please. Cool. And then today hosting is me, Alex Cumming Heath. That's because that is named after Chelsea's number 3 goalkeeper, and also because I'm a child with a stupid sense of humour, because Cumming is funny. Right, so how are we all?
Reeling, Alex. From
Still
the fact
alive.
Is Chelsea's third choice goalkeeper actually called Cumming?
Yeah, Jamie Cumming.
I have never heard of this man in my life.
For anyone that has done a career mode with Chelsea, you'll know exactly who I mean. He's just there. He is always there. I mean, in real life, Jamie, if you ever happen to listen to this, mate, I'm sure you're a great keeper. I have no idea. Your name is funny, and you've got to just take that.
Only 20 years old.
He's a young guy, yeah.
Born in Winchester. Yeah. I fucking hell.
I mean, Marcelo Bielsa's probably done a background check on him. Probably got 25 pages on Jamie Cumming already. So, John, how are you, mate?
I'm doing all right as I can be at this point in time.
This sounded like you had a good weekend earlier.
No, well, yeah, the weekend was good. Yeah, we're good. We're laughing.
So for those, obviously, we don't have the video, but right now, so we've got me, James, and Dan. We've all got our cameras. Now, John doesn't have a camera, so instead he's opted for something a bit more suitable and has gone for Ainsley Harriott appearing over some hills, smiling at us.
Not just any hills. That's the
Windows
XP background.
That is, yes, absolutely. That is the Windows Hills, ladies and gentlemen. Microsoft, if you listen to this, we all love Microsoft. In fact, we're all recording with Microsoft products, obviously. I can't wait to drink from my... Yes, we are. We're on that sponsorship deal, Dan.
Oh.
We are sponsorship whores. Before we get going as well, we have some regular lists. We have some new listeners even. We have some new listeners. Some mates of mine, James, Ed, and Andrew. They're all Arsenal fans, so right now they can go fuck themselves. But still, I promised them a shout out, so there you go. That's what they'll get. Right. So, from one Wembley disaster to potentially another, playoff preview, Brentford against Fulham. Dan, how are you feeling?
I am shitting myself, Alex, honestly. I've never had a good experience at Wembley as a Brentford fan, so hopefully this will be 8th time or fucking 13th time or whatever it is, the charm.
Bloody hell.
I don't know. I'm getting less confident with every passing minute. It's good. It's good to have a lot of faith in your team, lads.
In my notes, it's got ask Dan, how are you feeling? Optimistic? Well, that's not what I got from that. So let's look at some stats. These stats will definitely calm you down, I think. So both teams basically, okay, this is a bit spooky, but both teams come from winning their respective playoff semi-finals 3-2 on aggregate, and both were against Welsh teams. And both are from West London.
Good.
That's fucking weird.
It is a bit odd.
In the league, Brentford, this season, you have claimed all 6 points in head-to-head against Fulham. Scoring 2 at home and 1 away. No, yeah. Clean sheets.
Yeah.
You've won 8 of your 11 games since the restart. Only lost 3. Compared to, well, Fulham have, since the restart, have lost 3, but also drawn 2. So not great. Both of the teams have finished on the same amount of points. Brentford had the higher goal difference 42 goal difference. Fulham had 16 for fuck's sake. Like, oh Jesus. The last time Fulham got any points against Brentford was 2016. And both the Championship's leading goal scorers go head-to-head. And both of them are on the same goals.
Oh, wait. Do you mean Mitrovic and Watkins?
Mitrovic and Watkins, yeah.
Teams. Mitrovic has more. Mitrovic was the Golden Boot winner.
Oh, shit.
26. Watkins is technically on 26, but one of them was in the playoffs, so it didn't count towards that.
We can blame the BBC. But yeah, so those are the stats. Stats-wise, looking at it from my point of view, there's a lot of reasons to feel confident for Brentford. Again, football's not played on paper, but I'd say looks decent.
Oh, I know, but it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of hoodoo about the place. There's everything saying that we should beat them. We've scored more goals than them. We've conceded less goals than them. We haven't lost to them since fucking whatever it was, 2017. We played them 10 times in total since the turn of the 21st century and only lost once. There's a lot that looks good, but then, that's football, isn't it? You can be the favourite going into the game and absolutely bottle it. And we've played, as I mentioned earlier, we played a lot of playoff games and we've never won the playoffs going back throughout our entire history. So there's not even anything to lean on that we could do. And our most experienced player in this sort of sense has also never won the fucking playoffs in Pontus Jansson. So I don't know. I feel like if it was played on paper, we'd fucking smash them. But as you say, it's absolutely not. And I'm sure you probably secretly, I'm not sure if you would have said it out loud, but you would have felt the same going up against Arsenal yesterday.
Yeah, there were a lot of reasons for us to win. We, even our squad, as soon as it came out, I looked at that and I went, there is no reason why this squad shouldn't be able to beat the Arsenal squad that was there. I mean, I was watching it with my girlfriend's dad, and he even literally kept going, but they've got Luiz. He's going to do something. And I went, no, that's the problem with Luiz. He will either be so shit, he will lose you a game, or he will be so incredibly good that he will win you a game. He pocketed Giroud, and I hate saying that, but Giroud did fuck all in that game, and it sucks so bad. Giroud's record at Wembley finals was unbelievably good. I think he won like every single one he was involved in. And you see him on the score, you see him on the team sheet, and as a Chelsea fan, you don't have to be too confident, but you sit there and you go, I mean, come on. He's on there. He knows what to do. He's like, again, similar to Drogba. Drogba just knew how to go up against Arsenal. He had so many goals against them. He just loved them. But again, just didn't fucking happen. Every player that went down, whether it was ours or theirs, it was just like, this is just not our day, and nothing will go right no matter what we do. It's gonna be a good game. I'm really looking forward to watching it. James,
hello.
Go on. What's your thoughts? You're a neutral. You're a Villa fan. Obviously celebrating not going down. Much to Roy Keane's disgust.
Fuck him.
Roy Keane say?
He was just saying the celebrations were a bit far.
Oh, he was fuming.
But if he wants to live his life without joy, that's on him. Who cares?
I don't think Roy Keane's ever been summed up better, to be honest. That is exactly who Roy Keane is.
James, would you say you are formally no, for fuck's sake, Alex.
Challenging
Roy Keane to a fight? Is that what we're getting at here?
If we can turn it into a pay-per-view, then yes. I'll take that payday.
Okay. If we can get Roy Keane listening to this, Roy, we want to do a pay-per-view boxing fight between boxing or UFC?
Let's go UFC. Let's get the feet involved.
MMA. Oh boy.
I think you've got more of a chance there.
Yeah.
I feel like Roy in boxing would just be fucking out. He would just go for you. But across the whole board, nah, I think you take him. I think he doesn't. He looks at it as be like, "Oh, just too modern for me." Oh, I don't know what he sounds like. He's just like, but I think it's too modern, all this MMA crap. I think he doesn't like it and he gets scared by it. So he sticks to traditional boxing, completely naked. So I think MMA you'll be good with.
Nice.
Anyway, back to the second biggest event of the year, as opposed to James's 5 years.
the KT pay-per-view.
Yeah. So, what are you reckoning as a neutral fan, James?
Well, the playoffs are a cruel beast, aren't they? Been on both sides of the coin in 2 years, like simultaneously. I felt the hardship and I felt the pure joy. I think going into this game, Brentford on paper are the favourites. Obviously, they have probably the better team. They have the better record. Everything says that they should win. The one thing that really worries me about Brentford is it seems when they have something to play for, they crumble. If you watch them after the restart, when they thought they were just going to get playoffs and weren't going to challenge for automatics, they were walking the league. No one could stop them. But the second West Brom tripped up and Brentford had the opportunity to go into automatics, they fucked it. Stoke and Barnsley. How are you not winning those games? That's ridiculous. So if the Brentford of old turn up, and they'll walk Fulham, but if the Brentford who can't really handle the big occasions turns up, then I worry. I feel like Brentford are the better team, but maybe Fulham have more bottle.
We'll go over to John, who's a Portsmouth fan, who has experienced a lot of hardship the past few years. John, what's your reckoning?
The playoffs are a load of shit, first and foremost. What a terrible, terrible system of determining who goes up. It's a disgrace. But this game, I'm quite looking forward to because my team is not involved whatsoever. I think a key factor in this as well is the fact that Fulham have played a playoff final at Wembley and they have won it. I think that would be a determining factor. They've got that experience that Brentford simply do not have. But overall, Brentford are the better team. They're the more informed team. I think it is a good point that when they had the chance of finishing second, they just completely collapsed. But the second leg performance against Swansea was superb, really, for most of the 90 minutes. So I think hopefully they've kind of got back, they've reset themselves. They're going to just play this game as the one-off that it is. And hopefully we see a new team in the Prem.
I would like to see Brentford go up. I should have put that in there. Brentford are the team I want to go up.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, that funny enough kind of leads me on to my next point. I mean, there is something about a new team entering the Premier League that it's just, there's something quite exciting about it. Like I remember when Bournemouth got promoted, it was, it was just nice to see I've never seen this team before. I've never even not heard of them, but I never really kind of knew anything of them. And suddenly this team are like, bam, they're in the Premier League. And, as a Chelsea fan, in terms of points, it'd be good to see the back of Bournemouth because they always fucking manage to do it against us. But they were a good team, they established themselves for 5 years? And it was amazing at this new kind of thing going into the league. I mean, Brentford, it'll be amazing to see this new club turning up. Because Fulham, I'm not just saying it, but Fulham have been up and down so fucking much. It just gets a bit boring.
They're a pointless football club. They are a pointless football club.
It's very boring. Boring place, boring fans, a whole lot. They don't do anything innovative or new. They just play football in a same old way. Nah.
But then there is that just worrying thing of going, the one team that we all don't want to go up will probably end up going up.
I think the last 2 playoffs are the only ones I can remember. The favourite has won both times. So I think it would be odd. I think it would be odd if Brentford don't win.
Yeah, don't say that.
But I don't think it will be down to Fulham playing well. I think if Brentford don't win, it will be down to Brentford playing badly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the only chance Fulham have got is if for some reason we don't turn up. But if we can't get motivated for this one particular game, out of every game we've played for the last fucking 100 odd years we've been in existence, fucking, what's the point? We
I
don't
won't
deserve
lie.
to go up.
If you don't go up, I'm very worried for the future of Brentford. It's going to be a fucking frenzy for your players.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm worried for the state of the current team, sure, but I mean, we'll just do what we always do: go out, find someone new.
Yeah, but then you wanna build on a third place finish. You want to push for automatics, and if you lose Benrahma, Watkins, Raya's a good keeper. He could go. De Silva.
I think we'll just replace them completely. Honestly, I think we've got that ability about us to just go out and be like, right, we'll take this fucking Slovenian from the 7th division of Belarusian football, and he turns out to be one of the best fucking players in the league.
Top quality.
I think we can totally do that. So it'd be sad to see him go. You know, Benrahma, I've said it for a while now, is probably the best player I think Brentford have ever had in terms of pure ability. But we'll get a good amount for him and then go and reinvest it. And I think there's enough about the squad we've got at the minute that even if we don't go up, unless we sell like 8 or 9 players, which I just can't see us doing, we'll still be up there next season. Like, especially, I can't see any of our defence really going anywhere. Maybe Raya, you're right, but you know, we only got him last year. And he immediately performed, so we'll just go out, do the same thing, buy another keeper, and hopefully he'll immediately perform.
Interesting. But on the flip coin, there is that you could go up, and how much money do you then have to spend?
Yeah. I think we'll see a really interesting transfer window if we go up.
Because I think I've said this to you before. I love how Brentford work and how they recruit players and stuff. I don't think it would work for the Premier League.
I disagree, actually.
I think the golfing class is so different. You can't go out and find. You can, but it's very rare to go out and find unknown, untested players. Look at Villa this season. We went out and got untested players, and it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that Villa's recruitment team isn't exactly the best.
No, it was really bad. But if the Premier League's a different beast, the quality is so different.
I just think that if we do go up, like you say, the money that will be thrown about, we'll be breaking our transfer record 100%.
But how much money? I don't know how rich your owner is.
5 million. Our owner is very rich. He owns a sports betting company.
So would they go up and
professional
put 100 million down, or would it be a Norwich
It would be
job?
100 million. Jesus, no. I think we could spend 30 to 40 million comfortably getting.
Isn't it mad that the state of football, you say those figures, and I'm just like, that's not a massive amount of money.
Yeah,
we don't need to though, because at the end of the day, we'll go out, we'll spend 100 million, and then the chances are at that point we'll lose, because we'll probably lose anyway, and then end up going back down, having these fucking multi-10s and 20 million pound players that don't want to play with us anymore, or having massive wages that our structure's not prepared for. So I think we'll stick to what we know. We'll up it a little bit just because we can, and we'll get in a few. We've already apparently got a deal basically across the line for that Ivan Toney. I don't know. John can tell you more about him because he
Tony
witnessed him this season. We've already apparently basically sealed that deal. I think maybe depending on what happens on Tuesday, but like that sort of signing, I think is perfect for us. I think it's a risk, but it's a very calculated risk that, you know, you can't put up, 26, 27 goals in even in League One and not, you know, perform to a certain level in the Premier League. I don't think. Like, look at Jamie Vardy when he came in. He came from non-league football and started performing. So it's possible.
It could go two ways for sure.
It could, but I've so much faith in our recruitment team. They've done it again and again and again. Like, we sold our best player last season in Morpie and replaced him with a player who has statistically done better than him.
Yeah.
He scored more goals than Watkins. So I think whatever happens, we'll have a plan. And I think whoever we bring in will fit that plan very well.
Fair enough.
If we go up, that's still a big if.
It's really clear. So as I kind of did some digging and kind of asked around, but when it comes to kind of the non-Premier League clubs, it really is like money orientated because of the state of the finances. Because, you know, obviously you have, look at Man City, look at Chelsea. We got bought by a Russian billionaire. We don't. It's we're lucky. We don't really have to worry about money that much. It's like if we lost a player like Hazard, and it was not saying we have replaced him, but it's like, hey, if we wanted to, we could use all that money and buy someone just as big as well. It's so easy. Whereas with the lower league, with the Championship, League One, League Two clubs, they have to be so much more careful and kind of calculate the risk so much more, because they can't just, if they have $1 million, they can't just be like, yeah, just blow $1 million on that guy there, fine, done, because that's a huge amount of money that could be crucial to help them out. And it's kind of the reasons why a lot of you don't hear of a lot of foreign investors kind of going for these smaller clubs, because I remember I was chatting to someone about this, and they were saying that it's basically that kind of thing of they buy clubs as like a little kind of asset. And so they want those like instant results. They want to go up to their rich mates and go, hey, look at my club. They just won the Champions League. What has yours done recently? It's like, oh, well, mine's going to win the Premier League next season. So they don't go for the small clubs. They're like, well, why? What's the point? There's no instant kind of, reward. Whereas a lot of owners that own these smaller clubs are sometimes locals, sometimes people that have been watching football for, especially, English football for so long, that they know why it's a good investment to go for this club. So many teams you'll hear these big money investments to these really random clubs like years ago, and you go, why the fuck have they bought that club? Years later, you hear, oh, they're in the playoff final. You go, what the fuck? That's why they bought that club, because then they all slowly get up and up and up. Which kind of brings me on to my next point. Which is a fun little scenario. If you were an investor, you've got a decent amount of money, and someone said you can buy any non-Premier League club, what one would you invest in and why? Let's go over to John first.
Oh, well, I mean, the obvious one for me is obviously Portsmouth, my own team.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not going to take that angle. I'm going to go for an interesting one I've thought about, and it is obviously going to be the finest London side there is, in the form of Millwall.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hey.
Another supervillain team who have had the light shined on them for negative reasons and more negative reasons. Well, they did get Family Club of the Year a couple of years ago. Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah. I think Millwall would be a good investment, because I think to invest in a lower league team, you need a consistent money maker, and I think their fan base is a very loyal and dedicated one. And I think they've just got that reputation, haven't they? They're known for, you can argue whether it's positive or negative. But and also just shake up the London Football Club monopoly. Because you've got all the Premier League sides, and you've got, obviously your Brentford, your Fulhams, who are also well-established London sides. Little old Millwall comes along, bit of money, flying up the table. I think it'd be a nice little investment, and an unusual one.
You know what? I kind of get that now. As you said, loyal fan base. You'd probably be able to fill that. If you expanded the stadium, you'd probably be able to still fill it up.
Oh, definitely.
They are very, very loyal, and everyone goes. Well, I don't know if everyone does go to their away days, but it's. I imagine it's an experience. I can't say I've risked it just yet.
No, I've passed it on the train, fortunately, and that's as close as I've come to it.
I'll probably do it when I'm old and feeling a bit more like kind of carefree, and thinking, fuck it, why not? And run around in a Chelsea shirt with my cock and balls kind of just painted Frank Lampard, and just screaming blue as the colour, and see what happens. I mean, what a way to go. What a way to go be for me. Right, wow. Interesting choice, but you know what? Kind of see it. James.
I'd probably go for Forest, Nottingham Forest. Restore them to their former glory. Because we forget that Nottingham Forest were once one of the best teams in the world.
Absolutely.
So, restore them to that. Get them out of this rut of playing fucking horrendous football.
Awful football, man.
and
Awful.
restore them, get them up. And also, I think with John as well, they've got a loyal fan base, so you've got that.
Yeah.
To it.
So obviously, you were saying about how it's for you, it'd be more like getting them to stop playing awful football. Would your first rule as owner, no, not rule as owner, but like act as an owner,
It'll be
to kind of
it'll
get
be
rid
a
of the
philosophy. Yeah. It would be you'd get rid of the management team, and it would be a philosophy of play attacking. It's like Football Manager, play attacking, entertaining football.
Nice. I mean, funny enough, in my notes again, I was talking about how the potential of having Nottingham Forest back in the Premier League for a brief moment was really enticing. So I thought, how cool would that be to have if you had Leeds champions, but then you had Brentford take that second automatic spot, and then Nottingham Forest win the playoffs. You get one team that was fairly recently very fucking good, and then just went on a spiral, and they've now been for years trying to get back up and finally done it. And everyone hates them, and they hate everyone. It'll be fucking great. Then you have Brentford, a new team that could just really, well, no one knows what they're expecting. They can watch all the videos, but they don't know what it's going to be like when you go to Brentford Stadium. What is Brentford's new stadium going to be called? Is it still going to be Griffin Park?
So at the minute it's called the Brentford Community Stadium. I don't know if they're changing the name or
They
not.
need a new name.
They've got deals. They're trying to get deals in place for like a naming rights sort of thing. So like similar to Amex or
the
Direct Stadium or something. I don't know, but
that's a big shame. Griffin Park's a sick name.
It is. I mean, they might call it New Griffin Park, or I doubt that. To be fair, but I think they sense a money making opportunity and they'll go for that. But you know,
yeah. So you got teams that have no idea what to expect when they go play them away, and then you'd have Nottingham Forest, who were so good back in like when our dads were younger and were our age. That would be like, oh, have you seen Nottingham Forest have won again? Fucking hell, man! How amazing is that? We don't know that. My dad could talk about how good Nottingham Forest is. I'd literally tell him, you're fucking loopy because they're trash. And it would be amazing to see them back in and all these old teams that were once good start to come back and the Premier League be shaken up. Because for the past, 10 years, it has been a bit boring, it just being United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. It's been so boring. I mean, I leave out Arsenal because I'm talking the last 10 years. In terms of the Premier League, not really done a lot. That's just me being salty because of yesterday. But yeah, it'd just be nice to see something be changed, really. I
don't think that if Nottingham Forest came up, that title monopoly would be changed very much.
No, it would be nice. It would be nice to see. I don't know, teams kind of coming back to the
fallen giants.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to see that potential of being eventually they might be able to, Leeds could eventually get back into Europe.
That's fucking very well.
There's a scary potential that Leeds could do very well.
And I mean, I imagine, they easily could do a Wolves.
What else is there? It's definitely possible. Once he leaves to manage Barcelona, we might say something different. But
that's very true. All right, go on, Dan. Who would you invest in apart from Brentford?
So I went on a very similar route to John, and I started thinking about, where is going to get me the best exposure? Where am I going to get a good fan base that also offers nice tourism opportunities? I want to try and attract the foreign audiences. I want look at what United did with the Glazers, getting all of these tourists to come over and book up the stadium, making all that money. That's great. So I went London because I think, biggest city in the UK, a very popular tourist destination. And I went south of the river. And I went for AFC Wimbledon.
Oh,
controversially, of course, fan owned, or they are still fan owned, aren't they?
Yeah,
so. They are. So possibly controversially trying to take that away from them. But I think, I'll just very much be a shadow investor. I'll sit there, I'll throw money at them, and I'll let the fans run it. I'm fine with that.
I was going to say, this scenario, you are like a nice owner, and they've gone, yeah, he's a nice guy. Let's leave him.
I've passed my fit and proper persons test. Okay. I've proven that I'm a real person who actually exists, which apparently, weirdly enough, needs to be specified that that
sounds
needs to happen.
It sounds like you've done one of those, those things to prove you're not a robot, and you've got to
Capture
click like
things,
what
yeah.
isn't a traffic light. It sounds like you've had to click one of those, and all of AFC women have looked at it and gone, "Well, he's clicked all the ones that aren't a traffic light, so
This man knows what a traffic light is. Absolutely.
He's got a thumbs up in my books."
But yeah, I think I've been to Wimbledon. It's quite a nice area. Quite like it. And as I say, it's a prime location to get that overseas interest in, especially if I can also invest in some overseas players. I think target the Asian markets. That's the way forwards. Bring in some Chinese players, because China right on the up with their football at the minute. So
you want African
I don't know how
players
well
as well.
that'll,
On social media, African fan bases are crazy.
Absolutely. I believe me. Ben Rama's our best player, and we know about that.
Yeah, for Trezeguet for Villa, the Egyptian fans go fuck it. They had to set up a fucking Arabic social media page just for them, because they just there's so many of them. What's his face? Samata has got so many Tanzanian fans as well that just come in.
He's the best Tanzanian
He's the only
player
Tanzanian
player
to play in the Premier League ever.
Yeah.
And every time Grealish doesn't pass him the ball, it's fucking bloodbath in the comments. So you've got the English fans being
Grealish out.
You've got the English fans being
Villa
like,
don't need
fuck
Grealish.
off, back off Grealish. It's carnage.
Oh boy, but yeah, it's very clear that football is a worldwide market, and I think that a key to investing in any club is to definitely capitalise on that. You've got to think about it, like American as well. I think that the American market's a huge one. Look at Pulisic with Chelsea. I can't tell you how many Americans I see at the minute that are like, "Oh, my team's Chelsea," and it's fully because of Pulisic.
Such a shame.
Such a huge following now. I mean, we had one a little bit. I remember in 2012, me and my dad and my cousin. Because obviously it's different out there. You can kind of wear your football shirt, your club shirt, and it's not that big a deal. Whereas if we were walking around in the middle of Madrid or fucking Barcelona, we wouldn't be going out wearing a Chelsea shirt. Fuck me. It'd be a terrible idea.
It'd be mobbed.
In America, don't matter. So many of them literally recognise the band and go, "Oh my God, Chelsea, yeah. That's a great club." And it's like, wow, okay. How much do you actually know about us? But yeah, a lot of fans first thought that when we signed Pulisic was for marketing, for pure marketing, because we do have a good fan base over there. And it seemed only fitting that, what with Hazard probably leaving in that left wing position, we need a new left wing, and who better than this American youngster conveniently, come over to Chelsea. And it all seemed really kind of like, is this just to raise some funds in the marketing department? But to be fair, it's turned out it's been a bit of a win-win, because he's performed really well for us this first season. He's been played with a lot of injuries, which sucks. But when he has been playing, he has looked really good. I am gutted. I was really hurt to see how he went off yesterday, because he's still got the shot off, and then his hamstring fucking went. And you
went
could
before
see
he got the shot off.
Yeah,
that was the replay. He started screaming whilst he was running. Kept going.
The man carried on with a shot after his hamstring went. Like, fair play to him, but fuck. I just hope he's not out for the start of the season. I mean, the Bayern Munich game, I couldn't give a fuck, because we're out of that anyway. Like,
we're right off in it, yeah.
Even that's just going to be. I feel like we should just play our absolute youngsters and just go, you know what? Have fun, learn a few things from the Bayern players.
Learn a few things from losing 12-0 to Bayern. It's cool.
Learn what not to do. Maybe just sit down, watch them score. Give Kepa his last fucking game. And yeah, just see how it goes. Yeah, AFC Wimbledon's all good, really good investments, to be fair. And they got that new stadium coming up.
Yeah.
It's a decent, very good size. Cool. So we kind of briefly touched on yo-yo teams. Who, if I say the term yo-yo teams, who do you instantly think of? Let's go to Oh, James has got the mic right up to his.
I mean, we
Right,
touched on it
I'll-
before, so I'll just repeat. But West Brom are a big yo-yo team.
Yeah.
They're also a fucking
Yeah.
boring team. Like they don't offer anything to any league.
Is that speaking as a Midlander, or is that as a football fan in general? Because I mean, I agree as a football fan.
I mean, I think it's a bit of both. Like West Brom seem to think that we've got a rivalry with them. Like we don't like each other, but I couldn't give a fuck at the end of the day. Like I'd like to beat them, but I won't cry if we don't. Like I don't know how many times I've had to tell a West Brom or Wolves fan that our rivals are Birmingham. The problem with West Brom and then Wolves as well, they just don't. Their rivalry is supposed to be with each other, but they don't really care. So they're trying to form one with us, and we're just like fuck off. But
Because you're the biggest team in that area, innit?
Yeah.
Like, historically,
Yeah.
you've been, so
But-
you want to be seen as competing with the best.
Yeah, but
When
West
they're
Brom,
just not.
they're just boring. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Pereira who they've got at the minute. I think he's class.
Mm.
Apart from that, I couldn't really care. Bilic as well. I like Slaven Bilic, so maybe they'll change. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got to say, West Brom are up there for me as well. They're a really fucking boring side. They've never done a cup run at all either. Like, they've never really challenged for a European place. They've never really gone mid-table either. They've always just been, when they get to the Premier League, they're just like,
They're just content.
solidly, like,
They'll take
Yeah.
if you offered West Brom 17th every season, they'd take it.
yeah, because they'd be like, yeah, but that means we're in the Premier League all
Yeah.
the time. So, and it's like, yeah, I get that, but
Getting that money.
yeah, that's to be fair, that's another good point.
Getting a lot
You get
more money
both
than the Championship. Let me do it.
Yeah.
I
true.
remember that from earlier.
Birmingham used to be a yo-yo team
Even
as well,
mentioned
but
something.
now they're just fucking shit. So
Who is that?
Birmingham used to be a yo-yo team, and to be fair, they might become a yo-yo team between League One and Championship. Who knows?
They did for a while, to be fair. I mean, funny enough, back in the day, West Ham.
That's literally who I was going to say. Like, I don't know what it is, because they've obviously not gone down for a while. What was it, like 2011, 2012, something like that? It was the last time they were in Championship. But they always were just really shit team that kept going up and down. Like, they were too good for the Championship and too bad for the Premier League.
They needed another league in between.
Yeah, there's some teams that are like that. Like, a yo-yo team's such a weird term, because I think some teams are yo-yo teams because they're shit and they just shit their way through. And some teams are yo-yo teams because, like I say, they're too good for the Championship but too bad for the Prem. And there's like West Ham, I think Newcastle to an extent as well.
Funny enough, that's
Seen them a little bit as like they're too good for like when they were in the Championship, they absolutely walked it. They were fucking great. But I don't know, now somehow they're I think they're benefiting from the fact that there's been a lot of shit in the Premier League this season, to be fair. I think a lot of
It was a horrendous season.
Oh god, yeah.
particularly at the
Apart
bottom.
from Liverpool, it was
Everyone underperformed.
Oh, big time. John, who when I say yo-yo team, who do you think of?
Hull City.
Oh,
It's more kind of around the 2016 point to the 08-09 season.
They're in a very deep yo at the minute.
This is a deep yo, yeah. Unfortunately, they've been really
following
crap,
that Pompey highway straight on down.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, they got promoted to the Prem in 08-09, relegated the following season, get promoted again in 2013, stay up for 2 seasons, then relegated, promoted from the Championship, relegated same season, and since then they've been in the Championship and now they've gone into League One. And I think they could be in that similar mould to, sort of Birmingham team, where it could be a case of they're better than League One, but they are not good enough for the Championship.
Yeah,
that's Rotherham as well.
Rotherham, massive yo-yo
Oh
team. You can expect if you're a mid-table Championship team, you can expect to play Rotherham every other year.
Rotherham.
Yep,
easy in the champ. 6 points of Rotherham.
Barnsley
League
as
One,
well.
You're not beating them.
Well, Barnsley stayed up. Fair play, credit to Barnsley. But yeah,
fortunately, because of the invisible man at Wigan.
Oh yeah, but yeah, the Barnsley
Invisible
can
man?
only do what's in front of them.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
the
what I was saying
administration.
earlier. The fucking fella who doesn't exist, who fucking owns Wigan.
Oh wow!
It's
Sorry,
got a betting thing.
Oh
in it.
yeah, it's horrible. They're old, basically their old owners it's all conspiracy theory. Let's be clear. It's not like proven or anything, but they reckon that their old owners made up a person to come in and buy the club so they could move money around and make themselves seem like they're not part of the club anymore, so they can be doing dealings behind the scenes. And
I swear there was a rumour that they put a bet on themselves to go down, and that's why they put
relegated.
themselves in the in administration.
Yeah, and I mean, they paid off, if that is true.
Very nearly
didn't
didn't.
go down. I know, because Wigan are a good club. They shouldn't have gone down. They definitely weren't in the bottom half of clubs in the Championship this season, really. Paul Cook's probably manager of the season. Let's be realistic.
So thinking about these yo-yo clubs, how do you break that duck to become like a team that's either... So if you're a yo-yo team between like the Premier League and the Championship, how do you break that kind of spell of constantly going up and down and just go, right, we go...
Money.
Money.
Yeah. Money. You know what? I kind of felt that was going to be the answer.
I think sign Roy Hodgson as your manager. That's the way to break that.
Yeah, or Sam Allardyce or someone.
How to keep a team up. Or Nigel Pearson.
Yeah. Unless you're Watford, in which case just don't hire anyone because you're going to get rid of him next week.
Exactly.
Roy Hodgson will keep you there. Sam will save you there from the brink of doom.
Yeah.
So just have that. Make sure them two are available at all times. Just have them in your back pocket, ready.
Your big money signing in the summer is Roy Hodgson. Doesn't matter what players you got, sign him before anyone else.
Boy. So looking ahead to next season, who do we think's in trouble? And who do think about the newly promoted teams? Think about the teams that narrowly escaped relegation. Who do we think is probably going to do well? Who do we think is going to have a shit time? Who do we think is going to just have a really just solid kind of season? Do we think there's going to be any surprises?
I don't know how much of a surprise it is, but I think that Sheffield United are going to be in trouble next season.
They've been shit since the restart.
Exactly. I think it's been a huge fluke they got to where they did. And like, fair play, they rode their luck. They did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. But I think that there's no way they can maintain it next season, especially since they're losing Henderson.
Yeah.
Like if you look at their strike force, there is no way they should be anywhere near the top half of the table. They've got 4 strikers, and all of them are relegation fighters at best, I reckon.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you. They were right up there. I think, like you were saying earlier, James, the whole league as a whole has been shit this season. Everyone has underperformed, and Sheffield capitalised on that because I think people didn't know what would come from Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And now next season, having had a year of them, having had time to study them, they'll be a lot more prepared, and I don't think Sheffield will do anywhere near as good. And they could
I agree.
very easily go down.
Do we think there's going to be any surprises? Do we think we might have another Wolves style kind of rise?
If anyone's going to do that, it's going to be Leeds.
I think, like I said earlier, as long as Marcelo Bielsa's there, they're very, very capable of finishing top half, pushing up for maybe that last Europa League spot.
I think whoever wins the playoffs are going to be in trouble next season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think West Brom are guaranteed to go down. Put that out there now for any West Brom fans.
I think Newcastle might be in trouble.
Yeah. Before the end of the season, I would have said Brighton. But having seen what business Brighton
they've done is crazy good. It's weird.
Especially getting it done early.
Yeah.
So they're going to get these players and be able to work with them.
Yeah, bed them
very
in.
quickly.
Yeah.
I think they've done very good business, actually.
Also, as well, like watching them play, I remember I watched the Brighton-Liverpool game. They were in that. They went 3-0 down. No, they went 2-0 down for fuck's sake in the first 10 minutes. I sat there thinking, here we go, this is going to be Liverpool's day to just tear another team apart. Brighton got back in it very, very comfortably and just kind of at one point looked as if they could turn it around and go, you know what, this could be 2-2. They were unlucky. 3-1 flattered Liverpool that day, and Brighton was so unlucky to not get anything from that. And watching them do that and seeing who they brought in, I really feel like they will be, if they are relegation candidates, that's fucking poor, and I'm not sure what the hell would have happened.
I think Brighton will be fine.
Yeah.
I think
they'll be fine. I think they'll
14th.
still be down there. I think they'll still be in the 15th, sort of 16th spot, but I think they'll again, comfortably survive. It will look bad, but then
Palace need to do something because
6,
they
7,
were
8 games
crap since
to
the
go.
restart.
Mm.
Do we actually, John? What's your thoughts about who or how everything's going to go in the Premier League next season in terms of teams going up, teams going down?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts have kind of been echoed by the other two. I think the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is a lot bigger than it used to be. Sort of like 5+ years ago when teams came up and you wouldn't often predict them to go down straight away. I know we did with Sheffield United. We thought they were doomed. They did fantastically well, but yeah, I think I don't think they'll be in trouble. I think they're very well coached. I think Wilder's probably one of the better managers in the entire league, really. I think he's got the intelligence and the ability to keep that side up. They'll probably finish around mid-table, I reckon, sort of where Palace, Newcastle, Everton all are. But yeah, I think Palace are probably the most surprising team who I would predict are going to be in a bit of a relegation battle. They've got a very old squad. They've got a very old manager. No one in that side is getting younger. And if Zaha has another kind of very unproductive year, I think it's just going to be trouble ahead. They need to invest in youth and they need to invest well. But in a more positive way, I'm quite excited to see how Tottenham do under a full season of Mourinho. Because he took them from 14th when he took over and he's got them in the Europa League, finishing above Wolves, Arsenal, Sheffield United, who all had pretty decent seasons, especially Sheffield United in the first, pre-lockdown, obviously. So I think Spurs might be a little surprise package, depending how Leicester come back as well.
You can definitely see, particularly in the more recent games towards the end of the restart, that Mourinho has started getting those players working the way he wants them to work. You look at some of the stats from some of those games, like the Arsenal game, they had less than 40% possession or something. They had ridiculous low amount of possession. They had low shots. They had low everything, but it worked for him because Mourinho was like, look, we're not going to be able to outrun, outplay, outshoot them without working a lot harder. So for now, let's focus on keeping ourselves tight and making sure we nail things when we get the chance. And they did.
Absolutely.
There's one more team we haven't mentioned. Sorry, Alex, just before we move on, there is one team in the lower half we haven't mentioned. I'm curious to see some opinions on. I've not said anything. I'm just saying this is the only team that hasn't been.
As Dan mentioned this very slowly from James, a middle finger just rose from the ashes.
I think Villa will be fine because I'm blindly optimistic. But also, look at us fucking post lockdown. We were fine. Play like that all season, mid-table, no problem. Our last 4 games of the season we didn't lose, which is mental. Really saved us. Apparently, I saw today Dean Smith has been given another 100 million to spend, and
worked out so well last time.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The team is all right now, and we know in the league table, I believe we were 6th in chances created, which shows how shit our strikers were. So bring in a prolific striker and a better winger. We're golden. I would happily see 50 million on a striker. Happily see that.
Fuck.
50 million. What 50 million striker is going to want to come to Villa?
I don't know. Someone might want to, but all we need is a better winger, a better striker, maybe a better centre back, maybe a new midfielder, and we're fine. We'll be fine.
Who's your goal?
Several positions mentioned.
Tom Heaton.
Has he been injured the entire time?
Since Christmas, yeah.
A long time.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but he should be back. If not, I think Reina might come back on loan. I don't know.
Bit of experience.
Maybe Villa are like the opposite Brentford. Maybe Villa only perform when there's pressure.
It does seem that way because if you look at the season we got promoted as well, we were nowhere near the playoffs, and then suddenly we won 10 games in a row.
Yeah. So
Dean Smith, I think it's Dean Smith. Yeah. He's like, let's let everyone think we're shit, and then when it really matters, we'll just turn it on.
That's such a risky strategy.
It's worked. 2 seasons out of 2, it's worked. I would like to not have the final day of the season as an anxiety attack next season. That would be wonderful.
That is, without doubt, my pub quiz strategy. Let everyone else on my team think I don't know jack shit.
I mean, with
then
one big
have
answer.
one question that is the winning question, and then just stroll in and go, yes, A. Just be like, sorry, I just know that. But you all thought I was shit, so
Yeah.
you know what? That's fine. You can
Catch him
you
sleeping.
can chance it, but all that bottle of red wine, that's going to me.
But yeah,
So
I think
last
we're fine. Anyway, come on.
last little bit. Obviously, just happened yesterday. Eddie Howe, Bournemouth parted ways. That was the exact phrasing. Don't know whether it's a sacking or if it's him deciding to leave. He has since said, I think I heard on Talksport this morning that he wants to spend some time with his family.
Yeah, that's
Obviously,
fair.
yeah, completely fair.
Wait to see who gets sacked next season in the Premier League. Wait to see what jobs come up.
This is a thought. Where does Eddie Howe go? Does he try and go to a team that are? Does he go to a? Does he try and chances like a fairly big team, or does he go back to a kind of like a lower league team and try and work the way back up to the top again, like he did with Bournemouth? Or does he go for like a team that have been bang average, like in the Prem, and then try and make them into something new? Because my thought kind of went to Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace always seemed like they could be a really good side, but there's always just something missing, and you feel like you watch them and you go, you could probably do well in the League Cup. You could probably go, you could do well, and you could really give the big teams a run for their money, but they just don't. They have way too many games where they turn up and they just fucking crumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do we reckon?
I think wait until Leicester carry on their poor form. Wait until Brendan Rodgers gets sacked and go for that one.
Leicester. Oh,
That's a reach. No. I think that's a little bit of a reach.
I don't. He was fucking linked to Arsenal at one point.
I feel like Leicester will give him another year though. Surely,
Brendan Rodgers. If they're not in the top, I don't know, 7 or 8 by like I don't know November, December, he'd be gone.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I think he's certainly Eddie Howe. He's certainly too good of a manager to not go for a Premier League job. I don't think he should be doing anything but looking at the Premier League. And I think I agree with you. Looking at one of those sort of solid lower table sides that are maybe underperforming a bit. Because I think his problem that he found with Bournemouth was that he got so much out of that club above what it should be. Like, if you actually look at the players Bournemouth had, they shouldn't have been comfortably Premier League players, realistically.
But then the question's got to be asked, was it his idea to spend all the amount of money on Solanke and Jordan Ibe? Was that him? Because that was horrendous.
Yeah, that's another good question. That happens all the time. We see it, owners stepping in going, I want that player. Managers saying, we don't need him, or we shouldn't spend more than this amount, but then they go and do it anyway because that's what they want. It did seem like an odd one because Solanke just didn't really live up to, I think, what he really would have wanted him to be.
Problem is, you can definitely see the logic behind both of those signings. They're like young, highly rated players. I think they failed to live up to any standards that were set on them, and that might be just a pressure thing.
Yeah,
people were looking at them as they're going to come in and be Bournemouth's best player immediately, and it's just they weren't at that level yet, or whatever. But if you look around at other players in the Bournemouth squad, like look at Ryan Fraser, he hugely highly rated. There's no way he was anywhere near a Premier League level until last season, and he's just absolutely flown. And I think a lot of that is down to Eddie Howe and his coaching of him. I think, and Junior Stanislas as well. He looks like a competent Premier League level player, and he just isn't. Or he never has been, in my opinion. And he's just sort of found that in them. Josh King as well. Josh King was getting links to United. I know he came from United, but there was no way he's that sort of level. But Eddie Howe, I think, found this role or this performance in his players that I think made them rise above their station. So if he did go for like a Crystal Palace or maybe like a Newcastle, if Steve Bruce was to leave, I think there's definitely potential there for them to rise higher. And I think Eddie Howe could definitely definitely have a good go at finding that next level in them players.
John, thoughts?
Yeah, I think Palace are one of those is probably a prime destination for him. I think Brighton as well. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously Graham Potter's established quite a good reputation for himself when he was in Sweden or whichever Scandinavian country he was in the 4th division of them or whatever.
Denmark, who's in top division. Thank you very much, John. You made it to Europe.
Cheers, Dan. I'll just go fuck myself then. But you know, he's coming to Brighton, and I'm not sure how much he's improved from Chris Houghton. I think Brighton have flown under the radar. I don't think they've been great this season. I think they've been quite below average. I mean, they only had 9 wins all season, same wins as Villa and Bournemouth, and only one more than Watford.
Fuck.
So I think they had 14 draws as well, which was the most most in the division with Wolves and Arsenal. So, yeah, I think Potter should be under the microscope, really. And I think there's a good sort of young contingent there as well, especially you've got Lamptey, Webster, you've got that Connolly as well, who kind of had flashes of great football. I think Brighton should be interested, especially.
Definitely.
Very good. Fantastic. Right. I mean, that is everything discussed. All things non-Premier League, kind of, in the end. Right. Anything else to discuss? Anything else to say before we wrap things up?
Have fun on Tuesday, Dan.
I hope that come Wednesday morning I'll be in a good place and I'll be happy to communicate with you guys. There's every chance that you won't hear from me for about a month. So
Good.
let's hope. I don't know. I think we've definitely got the ability. So we just need to see who turns up on Tuesday.
Well, hopefully your players do. Otherwise, you're not going to be playing with anyone.
That would be an automatic forfeit. That wouldn't be good.
John, anything else to say? Or Ainsley Harriott, should I say?
Playoffs are shit.
Yeah, I agree. I think whoever finishes third should just get the third spot. I think that's very much the correct way of doing things. But hey ho.
Yeah, that's a good note to end on. As much as I wish Brentford all the luck, the playoffs are a crock of shit, and it should just be third place. I don't know why.
No, playoffs are fun.
It's not fun when you're third place, and if you're like fucking 10 points ahead of 6th place, and 6th is the one that gets promoted.
So don't lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it comes down to
football, innit? Knockout football always throws up a shock or two.
Or maybe they could do it how Germany do it. They have a relegation playoff. So 18th in the Premier League play 3rd in the Championship.
That'd be pretty sick.
That's a fucking good idea. We need to do that. Right. And that's what we're going to end on. We're going to end on one of us writing to the EFL and the FA saying we've got to do it how the Bundesliga do it. I'm going to nominate James. Cheers, mate.
Oh, work.
Right. Thank you very much for listening. Hope your lockdown's not been too shit. See you on the next one.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Bye.